Welcome to day 2 of our week of geography. If you're watching this video, hopefully you've already learned about the theme of geography location. If not, please go back and watch that video and read those slides before moving on. Yesterday you learned about compasses and compass directions. For some of you, this might have felt like review, and that's fine. I wanted to cover it so that we are all starting with the same background knowledge. Let's start today by addressing what geography is. You may have an understanding from some of the work we did yesterday, but here's a definition that we will be using throughout the week. Geography is the study of physical features of the Earth and its atmosphere, and of human activity as it affects and is affected by these, including the distribution of populations and resources, land use, and industries. You learned about some examples of human-environment interactions yesterday, and later on in the week we will focus on physical features. We are now going to take what we learned yesterday and apply it to another important component of geography, lines of longitude and latitude. These lines are essential for determining absolute location. It's important to remember that these lines are invisible, but are universally agreed upon as a way to express location. Lines of latitude are lines that measure north and south, while lines of longitude are lines that measure east and west. These lines can be challenging to distinguish, so here's a way to remember. Latitude sounds like ladder. So I like to imagine walking up the steps of a ladder to remember that latitude lines measure north and south. If I am climbing a ladder, I'm moving up and down, similar to north and south. For lines of longitude, I like to think of the long sides of a ladder. If I wanted to paint a house, I would have to move a ladder to different spots, similar to moving east and west. As you have learned, the Earth is a sphere. We use the term hemisphere when talking about half of the Earth. Lines of longitude and latitude divide the Earth into halves. The equator divides the Earth into a northern and southern hemisphere. So it's time for a quick review. Is the equator a line of longitude or latitude? I'll give you a few seconds to think that over, and if you need more time, feel free to pause the video. The equator is indeed a line of latitude. The Prime Meridian divides the Earth into a western and eastern hemisphere. Hopefully this takes you less time, but another quick review question. Is the Prime Meridian a line of longitude or latitude? Since the Prime Meridian divides the Earth into a western and eastern hemisphere, it is a line of longitude. All of the slides I've just shown you can be found below this video clip. So if you feel like you need more time reviewing these concepts, feel free to rewatch this clip or read the information on the slides below. So now that you've had some time to learn about longitude and latitude, you'll have an opportunity to apply this knowledge to a game. In this game, you'll be looking for buried treasure using lines of longitude and latitude. So I'm going to demonstrate the game for you. Take a moment to load.
Help me find the gold coins. Read the coordinates carefully and touch the correct place on the map. You can use the arrows on the X and Y axis as guides while you try to locate the treasure.
So right here, these 3 skulls represent our 3 lives. So if I were to just carelessly click, I'm not going to get it right. So I'm not going to help get the treasure. So I have to look. The first coordinate, 27 degrees south. So here's 20, here's 30. So 27 would be right about there in the middle. And the next one I need is 140 degrees west. That one's a bit easier to find because it's right on the line. So I look to see where those 2 meet. And I click. And so I find treasure.
Nice job, me hearty. Let's set sail to find more treasure.
So If you need a hint during the game too, or need help, just hit this question mark, and it'll have a nice review of what we just learned about. So after you've played the game for a bit, you'll then move on to Google Form Review for the day, which you can find by clicking on this slide. So as always, if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please do not hesitate to contact me.